Introduce Reverend Valentine. Reverend Valentine Owen. And the title is Journey from the Head to the Heart. Thank you.
You can take that.
I'm reading the title of your talk at the same time.
That's okay. It all works. Okay, I need to take all this stuff off. Well, good morning, everyone. And thank you so very much for being here. Good thing the weather turned a little bit better. And this is considered Holy Week by a lot of the other faiths. It's the week before Easter. So as we go into that concept of Holy Week, it's also a week of transformation. So I'd like to start with just a meditation this morning first. So let's begin this morning as one voice, setting the tone, the intention, and the consciousness of journeying from the mind to the heart. This morning, we allow ourselves to be touched by the energy of transformation, by the Christ consciousness and the celebration of the light that is in the center of our heart and our soul. We acknowledge that Spirit is expressing through us for our highest good and the good of others. We open ourselves up to love, the love of Spirit that is within us. A love that heals, a love that blesses and transforms us. A love that unites, inspires, and supports us. Let us remember to honor our divine nature and to let it shine in this world as our gifts that we generate through ourselves, and we let that out into the world. So as we go through this lifetime, know that these are the gifts that we have been blessed with to allow others to experience them. And so it is. So like I said, today is Palm Sunday, and that means it's the start of Holy Week, the week before Easter. And for many of us, this week, like I said, is a week of transformation. And it's a week that we sort of go inside and think, what is it that I really want to transform and attract into my life that is something better than what I have right now? You see, it's just like Mother Earth. Mother Earth right now leaves the darkness behind and the stillness as it gets ready to produce a new life by awakening from that dormant state. And we've never been in a dormant state, but all of us do have a place that we awaken. And some of us, we go through that consciousness. We grow in that consciousness where we leave one state behind and embrace a new awareness and consciousness. And that's what transformation means for us, to change something from one form into another. In our teaching, it means leaving one level of consciousness behind and embracing a new level of consciousness. So Holy Week, this week, is a good time to explore our spiritual journey and deepen our awareness in conscious creation. Whether we realize it or not, we are always creating. And the question we need to ask ourselves, are we creating consciously? That is specifically choosing what we want and what we desire by calling that forth into our life? Or are we creating unconsciously? That's simply being unaware that we are really truly creating. We're creating this life that we live. But sometimes, many of us create unconsciously, and we wonder what is going on. How did we get here? I feel many of us sometimes create unconsciously. It's just because it's how we are. We don't sit down and look at ourselves and see what truly is my intention. And when we create unconsciously, and that's what's going on today in our planet, We build higher buildings and wider highways, but yet we have shorter tempers and narrower points of view. We build bigger houses, but we have smaller families. We have more knowledge. We can acquire more knowledge in this world, but we have less wisdom because of that knowledge. We have more medicine, but we have less health. We have reached the moon and come back, but some of us find it troublesome to cross the street and meet our neighbor. That doesn't make sense, that we have so much more in one way, but so much less in another. Like we have more food, but we have less nutrition. See, we've multiplied our possessions, but in doing so, we have reduced our values. We've conquered outer space even, but we seem to lack inner peace. We have more freedom, but we seem to have less joy and happiness. We live in a profound and exciting time, but this time appears to be more challenging for us. Because of our materialistic approach and our technological developments, we at times find ourselves dangerously out of balance. We feel lost and at loose ends, looking for something to give us personal satisfaction or heal the wounded places within us. Many of us are seeking and searching for insight and for guidance. We are always trying to figure this out, and we're trying to figure out with our analytical mind. Well, today, let's make a commitment to ourselves to use this week, this Easter week, for personal transformation, to make our journey in consciousness from our mind to our heart. That spiritual journey that lets us know that Spirit is the life of God within us. Let's not try to figure out how we can do that. Let's just enjoy it. Let's just enjoy it for the present time. Let's just enjoy this splendid life that we have as a gift from Spirit. And let's enjoy it in the now time. You see, this gift of Spirit, it's for us to feel and reveal itself through us. Helen Keller said, "The best and most beautiful things in this world cannot be seen or even touched. The most beautiful and wonderful things in this world can only be felt. We can only feel joy. We can only feel happiness, love, acceptance, and peace of mind. We can't touch those things. They're not in our logical mind. They're in our heart. That's where Spirit resides, in the feeling place of our being. When we can get out of our analytical mind and reflect upon Spirit, we are knocking at the door of our soul and reconnecting with our spiritual source. Because until we feel connected to universal Spirit, we feel empty, lost, alone, and fearful. We lose our feeling of belonging, and our lives lack the sense of meaning and purpose at times. That's why many of us try to fill that void, that inner void, in a variety of different ways. We may be drawn to seek money, to seek power or success. Or we may search for that perfect relationship, believing that it'll make us happy and fulfilled. Or we may fall into some kind of addictive behavior, trying to fill that pain and that void that's in us. Sooner or later, we discover that none of these methods can fill up that emptiness that we have inside. That's when most of us start on that journey of consciously reconnecting with our source. The more that we can reconnect with our source, the more we experience a sense of safety, trust, joy, love, and fulfillment. But most of all, we experience a sense of belonging that most of us search for. We also acquire the strength to confront the difficulties and challenges that we encounter through the journey of our lifetime. Today, let's embrace that real, challenging, radical change, that fundamental change in the way we think, change in the way we live and embrace our life. The biblical basis for our spiritual journey this Easter season is written in the Bible by the Apostle Paul. Paul is out to change and challenge our mind and our heart. He states, "Be of the same mind, have the same love, be in full accord of the one mind and the one heart. Let the same mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus." Now, the Greek word that is translated in English as mind describes a way of thinking that determines action. In essence, it means mindset. Paul is saying, be of the same mindset that was in Christ. Our mindset is the fundamental foundation on which we build our lives. It's the basis frame of reference to which we perceive everything and give our interpretation to it. It's our ideas, our opinions, our beliefs, all the things that we have in our mind in the present. And we've collected those ideas, thoughts, and beliefs through our lifetime because of the things our parents said to us, because of the things our friends say to us, because what we've been taught in school, or the social circle that we travel in, or the news that we listen, or the internet that we look at, or the books that we read. That's how we collect the information that's in our mind. In today's language, our mindset is the hard drive of our internal computer that directs our actions and perceived viewpoints. Those are all the things that are stored in our mind as information. So spiritual transformation is a spiritual journey in faith. It's about just making minor adjustments in the exterior of our lives. You see, it's not about just reading some self-help book to become a little bit smarter and more intelligent. It's not studying a pop psychology that offers us a quick way of improving ourselves. It's more personal and deeper than all those things. To have a spiritual transformation requires a radical reorientation of our thinking, which results in radical transformation in living our lives. It calls for nothing less than a mental transplant in which we have to wrestle with a lot of the ideas that we have that hold us back. It's those perceived limitations that we have, those judgments and those opinions and those convictions that we have in our mind. Those are the things that have created that mindset that we have. So to change this, we have to make this journey from our head to our heart, where we can change our limiting beliefs and give ourselves the gift of personal transformation. I call this the personal gifts of transformation because these spiritual principles open us up to an awareness of our divine nature. When we accept these gifts, we move from our limited mental understanding, which is in our mind, to that spiritual principle where we feel and accept the intuitive knowing which is in our heart. Stop and think, how do you really feel? Do you feel from your mind or do you feel from your heart? You see, our journey from our head to our heart is the shortest and most fantastic transformational journey that we'll ever make in our life. By shifting our focus from the mind, which is the rational thinker, and is often controlled by the facts and the opinions of others. When we shift into our heart nature, we use this intuitive knower. We begin to believe all the things that can be a possibility. In doing this shift, we reroute our perception of everything and our definition of ourselves. We embrace and we know that we have the ability and the desire and the faith to trust in spirit and make that profound change. See, this journey moves us from lack thinking to abundant knowing, from physical perception to spiritual understanding, from perceived limitation to known possibilities. This journey also moves us from apparent separation away from our source to the acceptance that our source is in us. This divine divinity that we have is the concept of infinite supply and unconditional love. We have the power as spiritual beings to transform the appearances of the conditions that we see around us. And we do this by choice. We are so blessed. We get to choose our greatest freedom, because that's what choice is. Choice is the freedom to feel and do and be what we want to be. So as we go beyond our five senses and access our spiritual senses, we have the power to transform the experience of our life. In this consciousness, we are immersed in divine wisdom, and we know who we truly are. We are that bountiful spirit, expressing as love, as beauty, as harmony, as joy, as abundance and peace, to the degree that we choose. So let's make a leap in consciousness today. Let's run our lives by that feeling of the heart that is based in sensory information and lives in our soul as a vision of possibility. Let's go to that place of spiritual wisdom and consciousness and understanding. So I invite you to release any idea that you have that this journey has to be hard. It's not a hard journey. You have enough energy. You have enough ability. Don't listen to the people that tell you you're not good enough, or that you're too old, or that you're not smart enough, because we truly are. All that is required is in us. So we're more than enough of everything. So that spiritual affirmation that we have, that we can transform ourselves and have more fun in our lives, feel more joy, be more successful. All that we have to do is journey from our head to our heart, because each of us is so much more than the things that we think of in our mind. See, we are human beings endowed with enormous spiritual power to transcend any appearance that gives us an idea that we're just not good enough, that there isn't enough to go around. An idea that we have in our mind, so no matter what we say to ourselves, even if we think we're just talking in fun or in jest, there's no such thing as talking in jest. Everything we say, it becomes a manifestation of something in our life. It's like this genie that says to you, what is it that you want? And you say, well, I'm not sure. So when you're not sure, things just happen to you. You've got to tell Spirit what it is that you really desire. See, each day we stand at the crossroads. We stand at the crossroad to choose. And one of the greatest privileges that we have been given as human beings is the ability to choose. Conscious choice is a uniquely human quality. It's the creation that we have. It's the design in us to choose what it is that we want to focus our intention on. It's our spiritual duty to exercise this power of choice by setting and manifesting what our hearts desire. In essence, it's creating the dreams of our life. There is a metaphysical law that is activated when we make a choice. It is the law of manifestation. And many of us know this law as the law of cause and effect. This law states that as a man thinketh, so shall he be. What we choose to think creates our experience. With our thinking, which is cause, we create our reality, which is the effect. From the realm of the invisible, through our thoughts, we bring things into the visible. The law of cause and effect always responds to our thoughts. The thoughts that we have and the feelings that we have in our heart, whether those thoughts are conscious or unconscious. So if you're not sure of your unconscious thoughts, just look at how your life is today. Is your life the outpicturing of the things that you want? Or is your life just at random? So if your life is just at random, you're letting those unconscious thoughts run through your mind. So decide, take that journey from the head to the heart and have conscious thoughts of what it is that you desire. That's why it is so important to be aware of our thoughts, so we can have a conscious choice in designing our own life. Whether we consciously choose or unconsciously let things go at random, we are still designing our life. We are designing it by default when we don't choose what it is that we want. When we realize that everything happens by choice, we can begin to understand that we have the things that happen in our life. So if you want it to be different, make different choices. See, the experience that we've created in our lives, they're there because sometimes we don't have the intention of what it is that we really wanted. We don't have clarity of what it is that we really wanted. We don't come from that heart feeling. We come from our intellectual mind, and we look at all the things that go around us, and we make a choice because of what's going on around us rather than what our heart really desires. Like, picture it this way. We are immersed in the mind of God. In that mind, there are all the ideas and all the thoughts that have ever been created and ever will be created. In order for God's ideas to come into form, those ideas and those thoughts come through us. We are the vehicle through which God reveals itself. So just think of this. Einstein was the mind that said yes to that divine idea of relativity. Henry Ford was the idea and the heart of the mind that said yes to the idea of the car. The Wright brothers said yes to the idea of the plane. What ideas do you have in your mind that you want to say yes to? See, Martin Luther King, he said yes to the concept of I have a dream. We all have a dream. What is your dream? What is your concept of creating that dream? Imagine that as you are immersed in this mind of God, divine ideas are constantly being communicated to you. Those desires are their language and the imagination and the inspiration of your heart. So we control this movement that's in our heart, from the invisible to the visible, bringing this pure potentiality into form. Realize that imagination and inspiration, that's the language. That is truly the language of your heart. That's your heart's desire. And in life, sooner or later, we all go on a spiritual journey. We come to a place where we must choose to follow the ego or the way of the heart. We have to make a choice to be generous or not to be generous. We make a choice to be compassionate or to be indifferent. We make a choice to surrender to the idea of God, or we decide to be in control of everything that we think, that we're always in control. We come to the crossroads in our daily lives where we are required to make a choice as to which mindset we decide to live in, whether we live in the mindset of the mind or the mindset of the heart. See, when we come to realize that we are part of the source, we come to understand that we are marvelous, supreme, spiritual beings, unique expressions of this spirit. And we are here to love each other and reveal our spiritual goodness. So for a moment, think back in your life. Think about the really great people that were in your life. The people that touched your heart. I'll bet they were the people who treated you with love. People who acted as if you were the most important person in their life. People who made you feel that you really mattered. The great people in our lives are the people who release the greatness within us. So be of that mindset that allows you the greatness and allows you to release the greatness of others in your presence. Be of that mindset where you see the goodness of others. Be of that mindset where you accept and honor the differences in all people. Be of the mindset of service and be willing to help your fellow man. Be of the mindset of love that has unconditional acceptance for all. So let's embrace this heart-centered mindset and live in such a way as to embrace all people and see the goodness in all. To become peaceful and actively work for a better world. So during this week, during this Holy Week, bring yourself into the stillness of love that is inside of you. Ask yourself, what is in me that is trying to come through? How does love see itself reflecting in me as me? What is God's idea of me that wants to go forward through me? See, what do I have to do to become what it is that I desire? What do I have to do to release the goodness and see the goodness in myself so that I can see the goodness in everyone? So I can let go of judgment so that I can live in greater harmony. What is it in you that no longer serves you for your highest good? Think of that. What is it that stops you from doing the things that you want? What is it in you that you need to let go of? Is it control? Is it judgment? Is it limitation thinking? What do I need to let go of? And am I willing to do this? Am I willing to become what is necessary to go to a place of greater love? Am I willing to live my life always from my heart nature? So how can I do that? How can I deepen my love? How can I deepen my love for my family, for this planet, for the people around me, for my community? How can I deepen my love? What is it in me that I already have that I can be in service for another? What talents and what gifts can I share with someone else? What emotions do I have that I'm willing to heal and embrace a greater idea of love for myself and for all the people that I meet. Today, as we move into Holy Week, set an intention to embrace the mind of the heart that empowers us to live a life that we desire, and so it is. So I'll get you to do our closing, please.